Fight Live returns to Channel 5 this Friday. Two of Britain's most exciting super lightweights collide at London's legendary York Hall. Don't miss Eubank versus Farrell this Friday on Channel 5.
I'm going to share something with you that might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.
Razabani IFL TV proudly sponsored by Everlast. With me, got my man, the Omen, Spencer Oliver. Spence, you know what? I'm seeing you very often, and you know what? I like it because you know what? I was frustrated for those 18 months on, or whatever it was, however many years on Zoom. It was difficult.
Absolutely, a couple of years on Zoom, mate, and then we are seeing each other on a regular basis. Why are we seeing each other on a regular basis? Because we are getting big show after big show, mate. What an end to the year it's been, and now we're at the press conference, obviously, of Chris Eubank Jr. and Liam Smith, fight that's been announced for the 21st of January at the AO Arena in Manchester. Can't wait for it, mate.
He was up there, Chris Eubank Jr. And we know what Chris Eubank Jr. is like, and he was talking about how he was 60% for Conor Benn. But he goes, I don't need to be 60%, I need to be even less.
Yeah.
Is that total mind games?
Listen, where they're both at in their careers, the stages that they're both at in their careers, the winner will go on and possibly fight for that world title next or the fight after, but he's knocking on the door for a world title. The loser at this stage of their career is a hard road back, a really hard road back, and I think they both respect that and understand it. You know, not saying that their careers are over, but it's like, will they still have the appetite at this stage of their careers? At this, you know, like they're in the twilight really, but it's a great fight, man. It's a 50-50 fight. It's one of those ones where I don't really like sitting on the fence a lot. I always lean towards one or the other. I can't with this one. I can't split them at the moment because they both know what's on the line here. They both know, you know, what's at stake. It's a huge fight, man. And Chris Eubank Jr. doing what he does best. He plays mind games, tries to get in the head. Yes, he said 60%. He's for the Conor Benn fight, but he also said then, well, I don't need that 60%. This is a 50% fight. He's trying to get in that side of the head and under the skin of Liam Smith, but it hasn't worked because Liam's, you know, is an experienced customer and he knows what Chris is like. But Chris is a cool dude, man. I think he's funny. I think this next 8 weeks until the fight is going to be entertainment. It really is but ultimately what we've got at the end is going to be a great fight. I think stylistically these two are gelled to make something special, yeah.
We've seen Junior last time out against Liam Williams where he boxed. We've seen Junior brawl. We've seen Liam Smith brawl. We've seen him go in the pocket and take his opponents out. We've seen him box as well. So it's almost like what's going to happen in round ones and dictate exactly how this fight's going to go.
Well, it's interesting that Roy Jones Jr. has now been brought back in for Chris Eubank Jr. So, you know, Junior was looking good under the watchful eye of Roy Jones, actually. You know, in his more recent fights against Liam Smith in the first half of the fight, he was looking good, man, with a movement, etc. And he was, you know, you could see glimpses of Roy Jones in there, but he was boxing well. His boxing IQ was good. His ring craft was good. And Liam Smith, as we know, he's tough, mate. He walks forward, hands high, looks for those body shots. He'll be looking. So the way that I see the fight panning out really is that Eubank will be using a lot of movement in the first half of the fight, and I think in the end, in the second half of the fight, they're going to engage. I think ultimately that's what we're going to get. We're going to get engagement. It's going to be exciting, man. Styles do make fights, and I think this one is like, yeah, it can't not be a good fight.
Pay-per-view on Sky Sports. Obviously, there's a lot of talk at the moment. We saw 4 shows on the weekend. We saw quite a few empty seats across every show. Obviously, fans can't be at the same show at the same time, but also we're living in a living crisis where we can't just go to a show every week. It is pay-per-view. It lands in January after Christmas, after New Year's. Do you think it'll be a tough sell? Or do you feel like with the names, with the brands, and with a strong undercard, it'll do well?
Listen, after the Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn fallout, I think this was the fight that the boxing fans wanted, the boxing public wanted. They know that it's going to be a great, entertaining fight. And look, I think the box office sales would do well. Listen, talking about box office, actually, I had a conversation with Frank Warren earlier on, who told me because we've been talking about ticket sales and how many of them had gone to ticket outlets and how many of them were actually bums on seats. You know, we didn't know because we didn't know what the appetite of the fight was, because obviously the weather and being in a football stadium and the disappointment of not getting Fury, Joshua, etc, etc, etc. Anyway, spoke to Frank this morning, had a good conversation, and he told me, listen, Spence, I can guarantee none of these fights, few tickets have gone to ticket outlets, but there's 58,000 seats sold, that they've sold. So we're in for an entertaining night. It's going to be, do you know what I mean? It's going to be, yeah, there's going to be more bums on seats in there than I probably thought there would have been, if I'm honest. But yeah, that's an exclusive, by the way. So Frank said, yeah, 58,000 seats sold Saturday night.
While we're on the topic of Chisora or Fury-Chisora, I know it's the heavyweight division and anything can happen.
Yeah.
We know Tyson has beaten him twice. Sure. It is a trilogy. Can Chisora pull it out the bag? Do you give him any chance?
Listen, I'm always going to give Derek a chance. One, because I'm emotionally attached to Derek, right? He's in my gym. I've seen him spar. I've seen the training that he's put in for this fight. He's working again with Don Charles. That's where he's best at, you know, Derek. And he will bring the heat. You can guarantee that, right? I know that by the sparring partners he's had over. The sparring partners that he's had in camp. He's had southpaws. Yeah, he's had boxers, he's had sluggers. He's going for it, mate. You know, he's invested in this fight. He's brought fighters over from America to spar with him as well. So this is a guy going in there wanting revenge. We know how the first two fights went. It was easy victories for Fury. He won the first fight quite comfortably. Second fight, Chisora quit on his stall after 10. It's going to be interesting, man. Listen, heavyweight boxing, anything can happen. Ask Dillian White when Povetkin knocked him out. That was one of the biggest shocks in recent times. No one expected it. Dillian went and righted the wrongs, but you know, it's one of those fights that you just, you know, of course Fury's an overwhelming favourite. And maybe the reason this was slow for to catch people's imagination, this fight, is because of the disappointment of the Fury claps, the Fury Usyk, Fury Joshua. They're the fights that the fans wanted to see. Derek Chisora was the next best available opponent, and he gets his opportunity. Don't take it away from Derek. Derek deserves the opportunity. He's been a good servant to the sport, you know, and I think that it will be entertaining. The build-up this week will be entertaining, and Derek will go in there and he'll give it a go, mate, and that's for sure. He's going in there believing he can win.
Absolutely, and we look forward to it. Spence, we keep this short and sweet today. I know they're trying to clear us and kick us out shortly as well. So yeah, I know you're at Fury-Chisora this week, so enjoy fight week, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you probably next week.
Brilliant, Raz, thanks so much.
Spence Oliver, IFL TV, thank you very much.
Fight Live returns to Channel 5 this Friday. Two of Britain's most exciting super lightweights collide at London's legendary York Hall. Don't miss Eubank versus Farrell this Friday on Channel 5.
I'm going to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something. Completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.